What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today is Thursday, April 26, 2018. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's edition of the Bandwagon Sports Podcast. Great show for you today as Chad Forbes joins us to discuss today, tomorrow, and Saturday's NFL Draft. As always, my name is Alex Strofe from the University of Wisconsin. Stevens Point joining me as always today, my right-hand man, my partner in crime, Mr. Victor Hensley. You can find Vic on Twitter at FreeZeal, FREZEAL33 on Twitter. Mr. Victor.
How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well. It's a great day to be alive. The NFL Draft is here.
It's also a great day to be a Tar Heel. Sorry, had to throw that in there. Bah! And just punched him right in the jaw. I was feeling like Rocky. I got to look at the drunk driving arrest with my fine-tooth comb.
What was the last thing you jumped on?
The bandwagon.
The NFL Draft's today. How you feeling?
Yeah. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling wonderful. I think I just came up with a new song.
No, that was really good.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Here's the thing, Alex.
Yeah.
What I've realized is, it's been a lot of fun over the last couple of months, talking about the NFL Draft, speculating about the NFL Draft. But then it gets to NFL Draft Day, and it happens, and you're like, well, all right, that was cool.
Right.
Like,
Here we are.
It's so much more fun speculating about the draft than the actual draft itself.
Absolutely. You're absolutely correct.
I think that's how it is in about every sport. So
Yeah.
I want to get into a couple things about the NFL Draft,
Sure.
if you don't mind.
I love it.
So I know you've been doing a whole lot of work, a whole lot of research, a whole lot of analytics with this year's draft, more so than I've probably ever seen you do.
Yeah, I'm into it this year.
so
I'm invested.
You are invested. So I want to know real quick, right off the dome, who's going first overall? Who the Cleveland Browns selecting number one overall?
Sam Darnold, easy, no competition. No, nobody else even crosses my mind. The Baker Mayfield thing, and I'm sure you'll talk about that.
So before
I don't
the
see it
show, we
happening.
talked about it, and
Yeah.
I mentioned how potentially there's been rumblings about either Josh Allen or Baker Mayfield also at number one.
Yeah,
You
I
acted
mean-
like there was absolutely no chance it was going to be either one of them.
No, Josh Allen, I could see. I think it'd shock everyone. Baker Mayfield would absolutely shock everyone, even with the reports coming out. I don't think anybody bought them. I don't think anybody found them legitimate. I think more than anything, Josh Allen, yeah, he has an opportunity to go first. He always has been. I mean, he's been in the conversation since day one. But that said, I don't think anybody thinks Baker Mayfield, he's a proven winner. I think he's a good quarterback. Might be one of the best quarterbacks to come out of this class. I don't think he's going number one.
I mean, me and you have talked about it. I mean, we talked to Chad Forbes about it later on. I don't think Baker Mayfield's going number one overall. I think that's 100%. I mean, I think maybe they're considering it. He's not going to go number one overall.
Right.
He like I said, his character is still a little iffy for me. His attitude, I don't know. I'm not the biggest Baker Mayfield fan. Not to mention he's probably like the third or fourth best quarterback in the draft anyway. But Josh Allen's interesting. You're kind of a Josh Allen fan.
Big Josh Allen guy.
My thing with Josh Allen is, and I've mentioned this to you before, is his biggest compliment is that he's got a huge arm. He's got a big arm.
He does.
But we've seen that not necessarily translate to NFL success. You've got to have more than just a big arm.
I think he
Jamarcus
does. I mean,
Russell, for example. Jamarcus Russell had one of the best arms we've ever seen. And
Well, right,
he was
but-
a huge bust in the NFL.
And I think
You know what I'm saying? Colin Kaepernick. He was great for that couple year span. He's got a huge arm. He's not in the league anymore, which is for probably more than just his football play. But regardless, the guy that you talk about, Joe Flacco, how he's not elite and all that stuff. He's got a huge arm, but obviously that doesn't always translate to success. So I mean, I agree. Josh Allen's got more than a big arm, but I think with analysts pretty much bringing that up as the sole factor. Or maybe not the sole
it's not
factor,
the sole
but
factor though. It's his mobility. I think
it's one of the big
negatives-
factors as to why he's being considered this high, or at least why analysts are saying he's being considered this high.
His
It's more than
ceiling is
that.
his ceiling is higher than most quarterbacks we've seen in the past. And I think Sam Darnold also has that. But Sam Darnold's also very NFL ready. Really good quarterback. He showed some great things at USC. It makes sense why he'd go number one. Now,
Right.
Josh Allen, I think this guy's ceiling, given his arm power, he has some accuracy issues sometimes. I think that's really blown up as his number one flaw. and I used the term blown up on purpose because I think it's blown up. I don't think Josh Allen it almost seems like people think he's a lot worse than what he should be drafted at, which isn't the case at all, because Josh Allen should be a top 5 pick, if not like a top 6 or 7 pick. I don't think he'll drop below 6 or 7. That said, Josh Allen, in my opinion, will come out and be the best quarterback in this draft over some time. Give it a couple of years. I think Sam Darnold will also translate. I think Josh Rosen probably, too, will translate to a pretty darn good NFL quarterback. I think Baker Mayfield's got a chance to be a good NFL quarterback. This is a stacked class. This will be the best class we've seen since 2011, if not the best quarterback class. Get ready, hot take here. We've seen since 1983 when Dan Marino and John Elway were both drafted.
100% no. I've said this a lot over the past few months. I like the quarterback class. I think it's interesting. I don't think there's that many game changers in this quarterback class.
Who are you calling not a game changer? Think about who's in this class. You have Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, which are the last 2 Heisman winners.
I mean, I see what you're saying, but you mentioned in the interview with Chad Forbes, you mentioned guys who, I can't remember exactly the draft class you mentioned in the interview, but you mentioned a class with like 3 or 4 dudes that didn't pan out. The Christian Ponder draft class, I believe.
Yeah,
what you're talking about.
That was 2011, I think.
These guys, we don't know anything about their
quite
NFL
a few of them
talent.
did. Quite a few of them did at the same point. I mean, Russell Wilson did. Cam Newton did.
Right, I 100% agree with you. I mean, I'm not saying every quarterback in this draft is going to be a bust. That's not what I'm saying at all. But there's potentially going to be 6 quarterbacks taken in the first round. How many of those quarterbacks are really going to change their franchises? I mean, if you look at all of these quarterbacks,
define level
they
of
didn't
change.
have college success.
Define the level of change you're looking for. Define the level of change you're looking for, Vic. I think you're not paying attention at all to what the. I'm not saying all these guys are going to come in and be Aaron Rodgers. They're not going to come in and be the next Tom Brady. I'm thinking maybe a couple of them will come in and be like a Blake Bortles.
Well, you just compared these guys to Dan Marino.
I'm saying the best
class overall. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever walk.
I think these could be there could be quite a few starters for a decade. I think 4 of these guys could probably be starters for the next decade.
I don't know that I agree with that. I think they're good. I need to see more from them. But like I was going to say, they didn't have college success. That doesn't always 100% matter. We've seen that in basketball. We've seen that in football. Did. But they didn't. None of them did much in college. Their team didn't do.
Mayfield made the college football playoff.
Other than Mayfield. Other than Baker Mayfield, every other person's team did absolutely nothing.
That's fair, but
that's just
the key word in that sentence was team.
I mean, Mason Rudolph's team came close. Sam Darnold's team came close.
You're using the word team a lot.
Right. But here's the thing, Alex, is with the expectations, first of all, that we place on these quarterbacks, that's a big thing out of itself. We put a lot of pressure on these guys.
Oh, absolutely.
Not only that, though, if you're getting taken in the top 5, if you're Sam Darnold getting taken to Cleveland, if you're Baker Mayfield getting taken to New York, the New York Jets, if you're any of these guys, you're going to be drafted to a team that's not very good.
Right.
And if you can't lead your college team to do very well, it's hard for me to look at you and say, or at least it begs the question, can you do it with an NFL team? To be a starter in the league, you have to win games. In Cleveland, we've seen that. People, when they don't win games, they don't play. Sam Darnold's probably going to go to Cleveland, and he's going to end up with that pretty trashy team. So my question is he going to have what it takes to lead them out of this dumpster fire? And I don't know that he does. I don't know that any of these quarterbacks do. I like them. I don't love them. And that's just where I'm at.
Fair enough. I mean, you can't really love a quarterback until you see him on an NFL field. That's fair. But I want to go back to the point you were making of their teams didn't do that much. Oklahoma had a few NFL players on it. Wyoming, Josh Allen's probably going to be the only draft pick. USC and UCLA, I don't know how many offensive linemen that were blocking for Darnold and Rosen, respectively, are going to get drafted. I think Oklahoma might have a couple. I mean, it's just Baker Mayfield had it easier because he played for a solid offensive line and a solid team altogether. And I think that's a point a lot of people get hung up on is Josh Allen didn't win games. Well, Josh Allen isn't the other 22 or the other 21 starters offensively and defensively. So nonetheless, we need to see more. We always do. A lot of people weren't sold on Cam Newton. A lot of people weren't sold on Andrew Luck, even though both of them obviously had college success.
Right. I don't know. I'm skeptical about the class. That's pretty much my end of the day thing. I think there's going to be a couple of great. I'm going to be an optimist too. I think there are a couple of quarterbacks in this draft that could potentially have a lot of success. I think
who's going to be the best
one? Rosen.
Who's going to be the best one?
Darnold. I guess
okay.
Darnold. I mean, he's the one I like more than any of them. I don't know. I think that.
I'm an Allen guy.
That's another thing. Right, you are. And I'm not a big Allen guy.
My second favorite is I think I'm sold on Josh Rosen just because of his personality. And he's come out and he's a kid I can get behind a lot.
I like Rosen's personality. I really do. I'm not sure. I watched a couple of games of him at UCLA, and there was just, when he was on the football field, he got on my nerves a little bit.
Okay.
His attitude kind of got on my nerves. I remember him. He got a lot of credit for things he shouldn't have gotten credit for at UCLA. I think there was that comeback, if you remember that, towards the beginning of the year last year, where they were down by like 35, and he came back, something like that. So I mean, I don't know. That's the thing is I feel like there's so many guys. There's 5 or 6 guys, like I said, that could be taken in the first round. A lot of them are so evenly matched. They're so equal in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
that's like this is such a wild card. So
I don't know about that.
It's gonna be fun. Here's the next thing I want to talk about.
Yeah, hit me.
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna ask who your favorite prospect of anybody in this class is. Who is it?
Oh man, that's tough. I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like I've got to say Saquon Barkley. I feel like if a gun was to my head.
It's so difficult for me. It's so difficult for me to get behind Saquon Barkley. The expectations for this guy are so high. They want him to come in and be the next Adrian Peterson, or the best running back, for the next decade. They want him to be better than Leonard Fournette and Todd Gurley and these young running backs that have just been phenomenal in the first couple of years. They want Saquon Barkley to come out here and just do things that haven't been done since Barry Sanders. And it's really hard for me to get behind that. And I don't think he's going to live up to the hype, I'm not saying he's overrated. I think he's a really good running back. But I think the hype around him is really, really, really hard to live up to.
I mean, I see what you're saying in terms of the hype. I get that, and I think it's fair. Like I mentioned with the quarterbacks, there's a lot of pressure on these guys to do well. So there's going to be disappointment somewhere, whether some of these quarterbacks, whether it's with Saquon Barkley, whoever. But here's the thing, Alex. At the end of the day, we've had high expectations for a lot of prospects, for a lot of young running backs, and I just want to recall that three rookie running backs last year. Three of the top 3 running backs in the league last year.
Yeah.
Kareem Hunt, Alvin Kamara, and Leonard Fournette.
And Alvin Kamara and Kareem Hunt are both taken in the 3rd round. So do the Giants really need to look at a running back at 2 overall, or could they wait till the 2nd round? Where Nick Chubb will be available most
Here's
likely.
The thing, is with New York, and I've said this for multiple years now, especially last year, when you picked the New York Giants to win their division, win the NFC East last year, one of my biggest concerns is the fact that they don't have a running game.
Yeah.
I don't know who their running back is right now. Right. Well, we were talking this before the show. Who was their last really good running back? Their last decent running back was Rashad Jennings, I guess. But before that, it was Ahmad Bradshaw, Brandon Jacobs. And
even
that was a while back. Tiki Barber. I mean, so it's been a while. I mean, this team has people on defense. They've got the quarterback. They've got Eli Manning with 2 rings under his belt. He's not going anywhere.
He's 37 years old, though, so.
He's not going anywhere for the next few years, at the very least. As long as he can do well. They've got one of the best young wide receivers in the game. They need a running back.
Yeah.
If they can draft Saquon Barkley and he can just do what he's supposed to do what they need him to do, which I think he can. He's good enough to do
I agree.
great things in New York. Then they're going to be fine. And that's going to be a team with a number 2 overall pick who could jump exponentially next season. If Saquon does what he's supposed to do. It's a lot of pressure on his shoulders.
I agree.
But I think he can do it. And the question I posed to you before the show is, I want to know, not just with Saquon, but with any running back, is it even smart for a team to draft a running back, so high in the draft? And I want to hear your take on that.
And that's kind of what I just touched on. Do the Giants grab Josh Rosen, number 2? I think he fits the Giants system the best of the quarterbacks. And then wait to grab Nick Chubb, 2 overall in the second round. Or even if Geis falls there, or Geis, I think is how you say it, excuse me. There's quite a few good running backs in this class. And I think maybe the Giants could wait. I don't think they will. I think they're going to jump on Saquon, which isn't a terrible idea. And we'll see today, or tonight rather. But I don't know. It's going to be really, really interesting to see how this draft works out. There's never been an NFL draft, in recent memory at least, where the top 5 and even top 10 have been so uncertain.
100%.
It's
right.
It's strange.
It is strange. I'm excited for this draft. I really am.
I am too.
Who's one of your shocking prospects?
My shocking?
Yes.
Meaning like a first-round pick?
It's a first rounder. That's not shocking as a first rounder. No, let me rephrase that. Who's one of your maybe more underrated prospects that you like that maybe not everyone else likes?
Well, you mentioned him already. He's a quarterback. I'm a quarterback guy. Mason Rudolph. I like him a lot. I think he reminds me of, not in a playing aspect, but maybe of the draft position aspect where people have him low, but maybe he could come in someday and be solid. It reminds me of a guy a couple of years ago who came in. He started a couple of games. Wasn't that great, but he still came in and started. He was drafted low. Not a pretty safe gamble. That was Tom Savage from Pittsburgh. And I think not Kyle Aletta, and not him. Mason Rudolph from Oklahoma State. I think he is a guy that could maybe get drafted first round. He'll be drafted second round or third round if he's not. Who could come in and actually be a solid, at least a backup, but maybe even a starter someday.
I like that. I'm a decently big Mason Rudolph fan. That Oklahoma State offense was incredibly fun to watch while he was there. I could agree with you there. Now I told you before the show, I'm a Ravens fan, obviously. I've got a pick right now. You know that about me.
I do.
I'm kind of jumped on this bandwagon a little bit, man. I know who I'm leaning towards us potentially picking at 16.
Who is it?
You told me earlier in your mock draft that you got the Ravens picking Calvin Ridley, wide receiver out of Alabama. I don't think he'll fall that far. Number 2, I don't know if we'll take him even if he is there, just because we now have a full wide receiving core with Snead, Crabtree, and John Brown.
Yes, because Michael Crabtree is such a great number 1 option at this point in his career.
He was fine in the 2 places he's been recently, so I don't really have any issues with that. But beside the point, Calvin really, when he comes in, he wouldn't be a number 1 guy anyway. So
right, I know, but I'm saying long term,
saying stuff like that anyway. That's beside the point. I think the Ravens will draft a wide receiver, just won't be first round. Here's the thing, Alex. I think I'm in the camp that if he falls to us, I think we might should take Lamar Jackson.
I'm all for that. I'm all for that for the Ravens. I think that'd be a great pick. I just don't know if he'll fall past Arizona I believe.
Yeah.
13? 12?
I tweeted.
15?
Repeat that.
I'm trying to remember where Arizona. They're at 15, so right before you.
Yeah. So he'll probably be taken by Arizona. I'm not gonna lie, but there's been a couple of rumors that the Ravens might take him if he's there at 16.
Yeah.
And honestly, man, I love Joe Flacco. I think he's great. But it's been 10 years. It might be time to move on potentially.
Wow.
Not 100%. But, I want to see him this year with this receiving core because it's the best receiving core he's had in a while. But if he can't do anything with it, with this receiving core, I don't know what to tell you.
You're finally off the Flacco bandwagon.
I'm not off the Flacco bandwagon. I'm not. Sometimes you got to prepare. And as you know, I think Lamar Jackson is potentially one of the greatest players ever in the history of the game. I watched him in person. He's insane. And I don't know. I think when there's a player like that, you might have to take him. I really want to see Lamar Jackson in the NFL, see what he's going to do, because I think he's very special. And I think he's got potential. I don't know if he's going to be great. But you know what? I wouldn't mind seeing him in black and purple next year. That's my thing. And I tweeted just a couple of weeks ago, I said, anybody who says the Ravens should take Lamar Jackson just needs to shut their mouth. They're dumb. They're idiots.
Okay.
I don't know about that, man. I don't know. I might have had a change of heart.
Well, let's get some expert opinion in the room. Chad Forbes is an NFL draft coveree. I don't even think that's a word, but we're going to use it. You can find him at NFL Draft Bites on Twitter. He tweets all about the draft year-round. He's a good follow. I recommend you do it. If you don't, join the masses, 14,000 plus on his Twitter following. Let's bring in Chad Forbes to the bandwagon. We are joined now by one-man draft personnel and expert, and he knows it all, and we're going to pick his brain because that's exactly what we brought him on to do. You can find him on Twitter at NFL Draft Bites. Join the 14,000 that already follow the legend that is Mr. Chad Forbes. Chad, thank you for joining us today on the bandwagon.
Good to be on the bandwagon tonight. What's going on?
Well, we appreciate you jumping on the bandwagon. I imagine a lot of people will be doing so in the next week here, as the NFL draft is exactly 6 days away. This Thursday is the NFL draft. So, Chad, I guess my first question would be, the last couple months for you has probably been wicked insane. I'm not far-fetched by saying that, am I?
I wouldn't call it insane. I would call it fun. You know, there's a lot going on from the Combine, the Senior Bowl to the Combine to today. We're a week out. Now everything seems insane. This last week, you could honestly go to sleep and you wouldn't miss anything.
Fair enough. So my next question would be, Chad, this quarterback class kind of reminds me of, I think it was 2012 or 2011, where you had Christian Ponder, Jake Locker, however many quarterbacks were drafted. Ryan Tannehill was in that class. Andrew Luck and RG3, I think, were two. And it was just a stacked quarterback class. Number one, would that be kind of a fair comparison? And number two, what's this draft quarterback class going to look like?
I think you compare it to the 2011 class, which was the Cam Newton class, where, I mean, that was an unbelievable draft year with J.J. Watt, A.J. Green, Von Miller, Marcel Darius. It really changed the fabric of the NFL in the sense that the teams that ended up reaching on quarterbacks, be it the Titans with Locker, the Jaguars with Gabbert, and the Vikings with Ponder, ended up setting their organizations back quite a bit. I think these quarterbacks, this group's better, but beauty's in the eye of the beholder, and you got to get the right fit for each one of these quarterbacks to have a plan to develop them, or they could end up being the next Jake Locker or Blaine Gabbert or Christian Ponder. But ultimately, you want these guys to be the franchise quarterback, and that's why they're going to go high.
So, for me, it's been such a whirlwind. The weird thing is, I feel like for this draft, is that normally it seems like we might know the number one pick, kind of a couple weeks ahead of time. But right now, we have no clue who's going to be number one. We don't know what the Cleveland Browns are going to do. We don't know if they're going to trade the pick. So, in your expert opinion, what do you think, A, they should do, and then what do you think they're going to do?
I think there's pressure from inside the building of voices that would like to take Josh Allen, specifically the general manager, John Dorsey. The right move is to take Sam Darnold. He's the best combination of a high floor, and he's still got a high ceiling. But they could end up taking Josh Allen and trading down. That's the second overall. But those two quarterbacks seem like they're going to go pretty high. Sam Darnold's going first or second. That's a guarantee. The question is, does Josh Allen also go first or second?
And okay, what do you make about Josh Allen? Because I know one of the biggest things about him is his quote-unquote big arm. But we've seen that not really work out a lot in the NFL. We've had Jamarcus Russell, guys like that who have had, big arms going in and then don't really have NFL success. So do you think that Josh Allen's going to have NFL success, or do you kind of feel like he might flop a little bit?
There is absolutely nobody who will... Hey, Dad. Who pound the table and say, I'm a Josh Allen guy. I'm on the phone. There's nobody that'll pound the table and say, I'm a Josh Allen guy at this point. So that tells you that maybe, I don't think everybody in the world is right here. So I run a bit contrary to everybody else. I think Josh Allen's got all the talent in the world. He just got to be developed.
Is he the top quarterback in the class?
From an upside perspective, yes. So if you trust your ability to develop a talented quarterback with that type of arm talent and athleticism, then you could easily see him being the top quarterback in this class. If you don't trust your organization's ability to develop a quarterback and you want to go with a safer prospect, you're going to go with Sam Darnold or a Josh Rosen.
Now, sticking with quarterbacks, there's two more I want to ask you. I know this is a quarterback stack draft. We all want to completely focus on it. But like I said, it's a pretty dominated class. Two more I want to ask you about, and I'll get them both out really quickly. Number one is the former Heisman Trophy winner, Lamar Jackson. We've heard a lot about them. It sounds like he's probably a late first-round pick. I'll get your opinion on that in a second. And the number two is a guy that's been shooting up the rankings, at least what I've seen, is Oklahoma State's Mason Rudolph. Can you comment on both of those guys?
Yeah, every year with Mason Rudolph, every year there's a quarterback late in the process. You hear he's surging up the draft rankings. You know, last year it was Davis Webb from Cal who ended up going to the Giants in round 3. So it's as you get closer to the draft, the need for quarterback, people start pairing these guys together. I think a lot of it's driven off, oh, this guy visited here, he visited there, they must be in on him early. I don't see Mason Rudolph going in the first round. I do see Lamar Jackson having a chance to slide into the back end of round 1 with some sort of trade-up team. The three teams that I've really heard are in on Lamar Jackson are the Cardinals. I think they've been in on him since the start. The Ravens and the Bengals.
Yeah, let me ask you about that real quick. So I'm a big Ravens fan. I don't hide that whatsoever. So I've been hearing, recently in the last couple of weeks, I've been hearing, some Lamar Jackson rumblings. So do you think that's actually a possibility? Will they really take a QB first round?
After the Super Bowl and paying Joe Flacco, and then the extension they added onto it about 3 years later, it set the organization back. If you got truth serum out and gave it to Steve Biscotti, the owner, Harbaugh, and even Ozzie, they'd admit that Joe Flacco is not necessarily the answer beyond 2018. And even in 2018, there's questions on really how good is Joe Flacco relative to what you're paying him. So if you want to turn the page on, I guess, Joe Flacco era, you'd consider drafting a quarterback. Personally, I think that they've really put an onus on Jim Harbaugh and said, John, I always screw that one up. But they put a onus on Harbaugh that he's got to win in 2018. So I think he'll be very anti-drafting a quarterback high. And I see the general manager and maybe DaCosta being interested. I don't think the Ravens ultimately leads the draft with Lamar Jackson. I think it'll come down to the Cardinals or the Bengals.
Well, here's another question, Lamar Jackson related. A lot of people have been talking about how, which I think this is very ridiculous, how he might be a wide receiver in the NFL. How teams are going to try to convert him to a wide receiver. So do you think there's going to be any team that picks him up, that drafts him strictly to become a wide receiver?
Not in the first round or the second round. I think that idea that he would work out as a wide receiver was more the teams that already had a trend, especially at the end of round 1. I think it would have really behooved him to at least run the 40 and maybe show a little bit, run through the gauntlet or something. Because then you might draw some more interest from a team like the Saints or the Steelers who start to think about how can we creatively use you while we still have a Drew Brees or a Ben Roethlisberger or maybe the Patriots. How can we take advantage of your skill set based on investing this high pick in you? But he said, I'm a quarterback, I want to be developed that way. And did I think that hurt his stock? No. I think that ultimately some team's going to fall in love with his physical skills, and you can't deny he's pretty marketable, and that matters in football. And he'll go somewhere between, I'd say, 30 and 47. And I think the Ravens, they're not going to trade up. They're not going to take him at 16. But if Lamar Jackson fell to them at 52 and it made sense, they might turn the card in.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now switching from quarterbacks to other offensive players that are getting some mentions and a lot of notice. I think the top maybe player in this draft is Penn State running back Saquon Barkley, who was a junior. Terrific couple of seasons for them. And now he comes into the draft. There was rumors that originally that said they're going to break the big rule of drafting first overall, which most experts, I think you'll agree, you should never do with a running back. Where do you see Saquon falling? Because it's pretty darn rare you see a top 5 pick that goes to a running back, right?
Well, I mean, last year we had Leonard Fournette go 4th overall, and so, it's happened in the past. Obviously, it's more prevalent, but the devaluation of the position, it's a real thing. And, what I'll say that I've noticed throughout this draft process, the way that people are evaluating, is there's become a huge emphasis on space players and what guys can do in space, rather than an emphasis on what do you do in the middle of the football field from the perspective of the defensive line, the offensive line, and down the middle. So So you see people valuing the running back higher, especially in the media. A stat that I love is 8 out of his 13 games this year, he didn't eclipse 100 yards rushing. Now, is he a dynamic player when you get the ball in space and you can, make these cuts on a dime? Absolutely. But in the NFL today, do you really think the way the position is going, and do you want to take him with a top 5 pick and essentially make him one of the top 5 highest paid backs in the NFL and give him the most guaranteed money of any running back in the NFL? And I just don't see that as like a realistic scenario. These teams that are picking in the top 5, they're there for a reason. They don't need a running back to get them over the top. They need pass rushers. They need cover corners, quarterbacks, and offensive linemen. The running back, I'd much rather jump out into free agency and get myself a Jerick McKinnon or what the 49ers did, or sign a running back than invest one of my premium picks in the position.
So what do you think he lands? Ultimately, where does he land?
I think it will go 7.
Okay. Yeah,
I think that if you just grade it on talent, right? So not factoring in positional value, after the quarterbacks, which the quarterbacks are a separate conversation, you would say the 2 premium players in this draft are Quentin Nelson and Bradley Chubb. So I think that the 4 quarterbacks and those 2 will go in the top 6, and then Barkley will go 7. I don't necessarily think Tampa Bay stays at 7, but I think he's going to end up there.
Okay. Now, sticking with the offense, I just got to ask you, who's the best wide receiver in this draft?
They're all different shapes and sizes. Do you want a big wide receiver? Do you want a slot receiver? Do you want a flanker? Do you want a vertical guy? So they all have different skill sets and fit specific systems. For my money, the most well-rounded of the group is DJ Moore. And what I love about DJ Moore is he's bigger than Calvin Ridley. He's more athletic. He's great after the catch. And he's just tapping the surface. He had awful quarterback play at Maryland. And once he gets into the NFL, I think he could be a real instant playmaker.
Bradley Chubb, you mentioned him. What's this guy? Is he going to be I imagine. I mean, this guy seems like he's leaps and bounds above every other prospect in this. Almost leaps and bounds, I'd say. This guy is almost a sure best guy that comes out of his class, almost, right?
Yeah, he reminds me a lot of Derek Barnett last year. But he ended up testing much better than Barnett did at the Combine, so you're going to move him up a little bit because how pass rushers test matters. But he's productive, he's physical, he can play left defensive end, he can kick inside and sub back. I don't see a Hall of Fame caliber pass rusher, but, those are hard to find, all right? Can you find a guy that's going to set a physical edge and probably get you 10 sacks a year and pressure the quarterback? Yes. He's a complete guy. You don't need to take him off the field if you want to stop the run. He can do it all, so he's a great pick. I'm just not as sold on him as I was a guy like Myles Garrett or even going back to like a Mario Williams or a Clowney.
At the end of the day, who do you think is the best player? Who is going to be the best player in this draft? Who has the potential to be in the Hall of Fame one day?
Quentin Nelson to me is the guy that's going to be a Pro Bowler. He's going to be an All-Pro. He's going to start 160 games for you if you draft him in the first round. So you're talking about 10 seasons of an All-Pro or Pro Bowl caliber guard. That gets him in the discussion to go into the Hall of Fame. Now, we've seen guys like Alan Faneca and Stephen Hutchinson in the past few years who I think Hutch was one of the most dominant players of football for years. They've had trouble getting in because people don't value guards. But he's going to be a dominant player at the next level. He's the safest pick in the draft, and he's my top-rated guy.
Right. And, I got to bring this up. I'm a huge UCF guy. I hopped on the bandwagon. Our show's called The Bandwagon, and I hopped on it with UCF. So where is Shaquem Griffin going to go, ultimately?
They invited him to the draft, and that was a bit of a publicity stunt by the NFL. I don't think he's going to be there night 1, but I think he'll be there day 2. And, to me, he's a day 3 pick. I like him. I think he can definitely contribute on special teams and kind of is like a spy linebacker, maybe a weak side guy. But, I think a lot of the stuff throughout this process, anybody you talk to didn't time him at a 4.38. The only guys that had him at a 4.38 was the NFL Network. Everyone else had him around 4.55 to 4.6. So I think they've been kind of hyping him a lot, but people are falling in love with the kid. Someone said to me that even if you just draft him and he just brings that mindset and mentality to your practices every day, you're getting something of value in this league, the way young guys just don't practice anymore. They're all kind of, they think that they're their own brand, and, they care more about Twitter and everything else than they do about the ball. So people are falling in love with Shaquem Griffin and what he represents. So I think he's going to find his way somewhere on day 3. He's going to get a chance to compete on special teams initially and see if he can carve out a role for himself.
Chad, I got to ask. This is going to be kind of a different question. Roger Goodell announces the first round. Is there a name? I think one kind of jumps off the page, and I don't even know how to pronounce it, the defensive end from Oklahoma. Is there a name that you look forward to Roger Goodell attempting to pronounce?
So if he tried to go with Vita Vea's full name, he'd get lost. He's got it's unbelievable. I mean, I saw it once and said, okay, Vita Vea makes sense to me. But what other names? Joyafor from Wake Forest, a tough one. He's not going round 1. He'll be around day 3 pick. But I haven't gotten that close.
Agbania Okoronkwo. Did I do okay with that?
I don't know how to pronounce it. I know how to read it, and he's a pretty good player. He should probably go on day 2.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to also ask a little bit of a different question. What are you going to be doing on the few draft days? What's your plans for the draft?
I'm going to watch it just like everybody else. I mean, I'm going to be sitting here. I look at the draft, it's like Christmas. I love it, and I always say it's the moment of truth, right? Where we've gone through all this, posturing by teams, they've told us nonsense, and then we get to really see how they value the players and what they think about their teams. And even into day 3, when you start seeing, teams stockpile on corners or teams do this, they're telling you what they think about their roster. And so it's really a moment of truth where you go back and you sort of look at the moves they made and get a real good judgment of where these teams stand on a go-forward basis. So I love that about it. I'm just as into day 3 as I am into day 1. There's a lot more intrigue, obviously, on the first-round picks, the money and the pizzazz, and being down in Dallas. But the draft is it's a great day.
It seems like every single year, regardless of if it's, right after the NBA playoffs, right after the NFL draft, whatever it is, we always have like the way too early predictions. So I just want to ask you real quick, who's going to be the number 1 overall pick in the 2019 draft?
I guess the money's on Ed Oliver from Houston, the defensive tackle.
Okay.
There's not really any great quarterbacks. The kid that's the most highly thought of is the kid from Auburn or the quarterback from Michigan, Patterson. It's hard to look ahead. I think the Clemson kids will all be coming out next year. The pass rushers are really kind of confused on why they went back to school. But the best player in college football right now, the guy who should go first overall, I think he probably would have gone ahead of Bradley Chubb this year, is Nick Bosa, Joey Bosa's younger brother from Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you try to watch a front 7 player from Ohio State, whether it's Holmes or Sam Hubbard, you end up just watching Nick Bosa. You can't help it.
Yeah. Fair enough. I guess my way too early question to follow up, Victor, and our last question for you, Chad, is who's going to have the first pick in 2019? Who's going to be the worst team in the NFL this year? I just need a random prediction. You can be wrong. I just want to know.
The Jets will probably win 5 games again.
Right.
Cardinals, maybe. Colts.
Yeah.
You've got to look at the Cardinals.
You got to figure out who's most dysfunctional too.
Oh, that's true.
The Dolphins, I don't think are very well built. So that's a good question. I think that the last 3 or 4 years, it's been really easy when you've done your way too early mock draft. You just throw Cleveland in there and let it roll.
Right, but it's not going to be them this year.
No, the Browns are they're a pretty talented roster now. They've done a nice job there.
We'll see how that actually plays out. We'll see.
The top corner in next year's draft, who I watched a little bit this year, is a kid named Greedy Williams. Greedy from LSU. He's a fun player.
I like that.
All right, guys. Thank you for having me, and hopefully we'll talk again soon.
Yes. Thanks, Chad, and best of luck. I shouldn't even say best of luck. You're going to have fun with this week.
Oh, absolutely.
Pardon the interruption, but I'm Alex Strofe.
Pardon the interruption, but I'm Michael Wilbon.
So we found something, and this is going to become a new thing. As some of you may be aware, some of you might not be aware. Victor and I have been working on projects together since what would you say, 2012 maybe?
Yeah, something like that.
So we're going to start this new segment that's going to be there and here and there, every once in a while, where we dive into the vault and we find something from our pasts that we did together that's good for entertainment purposes. So this is going to be the very first edition of Diving into the Vault. Victor, take it away.
Okay, Alex. So earlier, me and you were just talking randomly about the time back in 2013. So this event that we're talking about right now is from July 2nd, 2013.
So about 5 years ago.
Where me and you were just sitting around one day. We were hosting a podcast that we called Two Perspectives. We were just, sitting around. And we were like, you know what? I think that we could potentially take Michael Wilbon and Tony Kornheiser's jobs on Pardon the Interruption.
Yeah.
And so we had that idea. How old were we at the time? So that was 2013. It's 2018 now. So I was 15 and you were 14, I believe.
Correct. Yeah.
So 14 and 15-year-olds saying, you know what, we could do their job better than them. So we decide, you know what, let's make it happen, right? So we go and find the contact email address for Pardon the Interruption, which is very cleverly pti@espn.com. Very
clever.
Very hard to come across. So I sent the email. This whole time I thought you sent it, but I remember now that I sent the email. I copied you onto the email. And
I have a question.
Yeah.
What time of the night was the initial email sent? It had to be like late.
What time? Let's see. I don't know how to find those details.
Okay, never mind. You got nothing for me?
Yep. It was Tuesday, July 2nd, 2013 at 1:04 a.m.
There you go.
So it was 1:04 in the morning, and I send this message to pti@espn.com. Dear PTI, my friend Alex and I are sports journalists. That's a really, really big thing to say, Alex. We're 14 and 15-year-olds, and I just called us sports journalists. So
yeah, we shot the gun there. We shot our shot.
I'm pretty sure neither one of us had ever reported on a single thing in our lives at that point.
Nope, not yet.
My friend Alex and I are sports journalists, as we also do a podcast every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We both enjoy watching PTI and love everything about the show. The two of us love Wilbon and Tony, but we feel as if we could do a tad bit better. We think they both do terrific jobs, but we could also do amazing jobs.
There we go.
You don't need to actually get rid of them. We can just have a weekly rotation where every other week Alex and I fill in for them. We believe it would be great for the audience, along with boost our confidence.
Yeah.
And let us have a little fun. We do not need to get paid for this. We just want to be on television, as it would be fun to talk about sports in front of a national audience. I'm hoping that you, along with Michael Wilbon and Tony Kornheiser, agree to do this with us. Once again, we do not need any money. Wilbon and Tony can get paid even when it is our week to do the show. That is fine. Please take this into consideration. It would mean a lot to me to get a response and an acceptance of this job. You can contact me at my email address or at Frazil33 on Twitter. You can contact my friend Alex at Alex's email address or at Let's Go Alex on Twitter. Thank you for reading this email, and I hope to hear back from you soon. Victor Hensley. Oh, P.S. I have even been working on how I would start the show. Pardon the interruption, but I'm Victor Hensley. Sounds catchy, right?
Original.
That right there is the message I sent to
Pardon the interruption.
Pardon the interruption. Right?
It didn't work out, did it?
So let's see. Well, I thought not. But so that was at 1:04 in the morning. So 11 hours later, at 12:29 p.m. That day, so around noon that same day, we got a response from Eric W. Rydholm, who maybe he's a big guy at ESPN because it's his email address at ESPN.com. So he must be like some guy that helps run PTI's emails or whatever. I don't know who he is. He responds with, actually, it might be funnier to start with you saying, pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. Just a thought. Enjoyed your note. if you're ever down in D.C. and want to come see a show in person, drop a line. Eric.
And we never pounced on that opportunity. You think it'd be weird if we email him now?
No, why do we not capitalize on that?
But listen, what if we were in DC, like maybe this summer, and dropped him a line?
What if I sent an email to Eric and said, hey, we're in DC, can we come see your show?
5 years later?
I mean, I would reply to the original email so he would see the email.
Right. I think we should
do it. I kind of want to do it. What if I sent him an email right now and said, hey, man, just checking in. I'm gonna try and be in DC this summer. If there's any chance, I might could stop by and see a show.
Imagine that.
I'm just mad because we got that email back that literally said, "Enjoys your note. If you're ever down in DC and want to come see a show in person, drop a line." Me and you could have just said, "You know what? We're going to DC right now. Why don't we not do that?"
Yeah,
that would have been amazing.
Because we were 14 and 15 and didn't have money for a plane ticket. That would be my best guess.
That was unreal. I'm mad. I for some reason I remember in my head that he responded with some snarky thing that we obviously weren't going to be able to take their jobs. And that's not what he responded with, Alex.
Right.
Ridiculous.
Right.
Hey, then I respond.
I have some breaking news. What? Oh, you responded to that?
I responded to that.
Oh, let's hear it.
I said, true. Didn't think of that. It could really get the audience confused. I definitely will. Thanks for the response. I don't know why I didn't say anything further, but yeah, that was the vault. That was our email to PTI. Try and get on the show.
There you go. I like that. We'll have to bring it up again because we've got some good stuff in the bag that we'll bring up at later dates.
Man, I'm telling you, I'm gonna shoot Eric an email and just see what happens.
That said, I have some breaking news.
Uh-oh.
LeBron James is the greatest player in NBA history.
He's not
the
greatest player in NBA history.
Hit a buzzer beater to keep the Cavs alive. Or actually take the lead in the series.
Yeah, they were already live.
Yeah, 3-2 now the Cavs are up. After a 3 at the buzzer.
Yeah, I just want you to know, just because you hit a buzzer beater doesn't make you the greatest player of all time.
Oh, no. You're wrong.
Really? Because I'm pretty sure Chris Middleton hit a nice buzzer beater, probably better than LeBron's.
Yeah,
and
Chris Middleton's second.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I didn't know. Okay, sorry. I didn't know that was the player rankings. My fault.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
Now,
you're
now
right.
you got it. Now you got it settled. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Cool. Awesome.
Nice.
Sweet.
All right.
Awesome. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, you seem a little tense tonight.
Me? Tense?
Do you need a shoulder massage?
I would love a shoulder massage. You want to come give me one real quick?
You need to let some steam out.
Steam out?
Steam with an S.
Oh, steam. Yeah. Hey, how about you just come down to North Carolina? We'll have a little shoulder massage session, and we'll get in the steam room.
That's not what I meant. Do you want to let some steam out? Is what I'm asking you. We're having Skype connection issues, ladies and gentlemen.
You meant let the steam out in a different way.
Would you like to stand on a soapbox and yell about things?
Yeah, I would like to do that actually.
All right, go ahead.
I got a little too personal. All right. So I have two, both of which I thought of today. And they've been bothering me. Really, I didn't think about them today. They've been bothering me. They've been festering in my mind. But I thought about, you know what? I got to let it out. Got to let the audience know what's going on. So right now, this is where I'm at, Alex. It's springtime, right? But it's not always. It's not just springtime. Or really, it is just springtime. That didn't make any sense. It is springtime, but up until like just a couple weeks ago, people were still getting snow. You were still getting snow over in Wisconsin. North Carolina had snow 2 weeks ago. So it's the time of the year when you'll start seeing memes everywhere on Twitter and stuff like that of people that live in New Jersey or Wisconsin or North Carolina or New York or anywhere like that, and it'll be a meme, and it'll say this exact thing: New York, the only place where you can experience 4 seasons in one day, or something like that. Stuff like that.
Okay, yeah, I've seen those.
You've seen them before? You've seen them all the time. It
All
seems
the
like
time.
people in every single state have something like that they say.
Yes.
Or it'll be like, New York. We can have 3 seasons in one day. New Jersey.
Yeah.
Hold my beer. And then it'll be like the fact that they got 4 seasons in one day.
I like the hold my beer.
It's ridiculous.
I like that.
The point is, everyone in America seems to think that their state has quote unquote bipolar weather, and everybody in America also their state is the only one that has any sort of like variation in the weather. So newsflash. Most of the time, when it snows in one place, it also snows in many other places. That's just how weather works. And so climate is. So if it's snowing in New York, it's probably also snowing in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and surrounding areas. Right? Now, I'm just saying, Alex. I'm just saying.
Okay, so I need your opinion then. Which state has the most bipolar weather?
Did you ask me what state has the most bipolar weather?
Yeah.
I don't know because I don't live in all the states.
Okay,
I don't think any state has more. Because here's the thing. I always thought that North Carolina had the most bipolar weather up until like this past year when I realized that everyone else says the exact same thing.
Oh, so never mind. No, Wisconsin told you to hold its beer, and here we are.
I'm done, Alex. I'm done. It's ridiculous. People need to realize that hey. Everyone experiences weather. It's kind
Victor,
of just a thing.
I just like to throw this out there. 1 week ago, we had 29 inches of snow on the ground, and now there's none.
I don't care, Alex. Like that's impressive or whatever, but I don't care.
Victor,
what?
Wisconsin is bipolar.
They're all bipolar, Alex. The only one that's not is Arizona because it gets nothing but dirt, but heat. Nothing but sand and heat.
Are you a big Sam Bradford guy?
I'm a big Sam Bradford guy. I love him. He's my
Happy
favorite.
To hear that.
All I'm saying is,
Victor,
Alex, what?
I have more breaking news.
What?
The Thunder have lived to fight another day, and the Rockets have beat the Timberwolves.
Wait, I thought the Rockets were down by like 10.
No, they're up by 17 with 2 minutes left. Oh, make that 20.
Okay. Well, good job, Thunder. I'm proud of them.
Yes,
they're going to lose.
Fight another day.
They're going to lose the next game, but it's okay.
No, they're not. They're going to win the series in 7.
No, they're not, but it's okay.
Okay.
Anyway,
whatever you say, young man.
I'm going to jump to my next soapbox.
Let's hear it. Let's go.
So this was actually sports related, and it bothered me because I saw this the other day. I was just on Twitter, man, and I see somebody announce something, right? I saw Notre Dame football send out a tweet announcing a home-and-home series.
Oh, I saw this.
With Alabama. Alex, they announced this crazy home-and-home series with Alabama. Do you want to know what the years were on those?
If I'm not mistaken, 2028 and 2029, right?
Yes, it was 2028 and 2029. 10 and 11 years from now, Notre Dame will play Alabama in a home-on-home series. Who cares? I could be dead by then. Who cares? I saw somebody quote tweet that and said the starters in this game are currently in the 4th grade.
Yep.
It's true. And
it's ridiculous.
The reason this got brought back into my mind is that today Carolina announced a home-and-home football series with Minnesota, their first time ever playing each other in football. And that's for 2023 and 2024. I don't care. I mean, 2023, 2024, that's bad enough. I mean, that's what, 5-6 years from now? I mean, Alabama, Notre Dame, that's 10 and 11 years from now. I don't think anyone in their right mind cares. And the thing is these schools, are acting like we should be excited. Notre Dame was tweeting it out like they were like, it's finally here, it's finally coming. Like, who cares? Do you even care? Are we really supposed to be enthusiastic about this? Really?
It's exciting stuff, man. I already bought my tickets.
I'm sure you have, Alex. I'm sure you're going to Notre Dame, Alabama. Sure you are. Yeah, where is Notre Dame?
Be there.
Where's Notre Dame located?
Ooh, good one. Illinois or Indiana? I know it's one of the two.
South Bend, Indiana. Good job.
There you go. Good stuff.
Yeah, I just think that's ridiculous. I'm stepping down, but I didn't understand that, man. I don't get it. I don't know.
You want to hear what I'm angry about? It's just as bad as that.
Just as bad, really?
So, if you remember, like 5 years ago, there was like two. Actually, it might have been maybe like 7 years ago, right? There was 2 point guards on bordering states of Wisconsin in the NBA that were kind of taking the world by storm. The Minnesota Timberwolves had a guy named Ricky Rubio, and the Chicago Bulls had a young kid named Derrick Rose, right? And now, all of a sudden, after disappearing and doing nothing relevant for like 3 or 4 years, Ricky Rubio and D Rose are quote-unquote back because they had decent games in the playoffs. They're not back, Victor. They'll be gone very shortly. They're not back at all. Derrick Rose probably won't even be on a team next year, and Ricky Rubio will probably wear sweatpants for 90% of next year's games. That's all I got.
Yeah, I'm going to say probably not. Derrick Rose you're accurate with. But Ricky Rubio's probably at least going to see another round in the playoffs this year.
Oh, false.
I mean, they're going to beat the Thunder. So I think you're just a little salty. I think you're salty because Ricky Rubio came out that spice, that hot, feisty spice, and cooked your boy Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, you're right. It's a little salt.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of salt. So don't hate on my man Ricky. Hey, fun fact. Fun fact. You want to hear a fun fact?
I like fun facts.
You want to hear a fun fact? Johnny
fun
Flynn was
facts.
on the same team as Ricky Rubio.
Ooh,
People forget that.
You're a big Johnny Fun guy.
My man, Johnny Flynn.
You ever figure out what he's up to?
Yeah, but I can't tell you. Anyway.
Oh, all right.
No, I didn't. I tried hard, very hard.
Yeah.
I'm still working on it.
Yeah, it's been like a year, Victor. Keep working.
Thanks, man. I'm doing my best.
So I'm going to make this quick. I'm going to jump on my bandwagon and let you do it, and then we'll close out the show. But I want to give a tip of the hat and the jumping on the bandwagon, which a bandwagon I think I've jumped on one other time, way back in the day, of independent wrestling. Because this past weekend on Saturday, I went to a guest we had on earlier this month, Hornswoggle, also known as Dylan Postel. He runs a promotion called ACW out of Oshkosh, Wisconsin. And they had a big show. They had former WWE superstars, MVP, Sandman, Ryback, and a couple others. Joey Ryan, who's all over the independent scene these days, performing in matches. Jeff Jarrett, WWE Hall of Famer, was there. And it was just a good time, great wrestling. It was a party, man. It was a good time. Everybody had fun. Even people that didn't know wrestling had fun. So props to Dylan, Hornswoggle, and the whole ACW crew. What a fun time that was. I'm jumping on the bandwagon of independent wrestling.
That was fun, wasn't it? You got to see.
It was
interviewed Hornswoggle, then like 2 weeks later, you got to meet him in person.
Yeah, and he gave me a good handshake and a bro hug, and he knew who I was as soon as I introduced myself. So that was neat. Really nice guy, grateful, and just a nice dude. So it was a lot of fun.
If I'm not mistaken, that's the first guest that we've met in person of ours.
I met Chris Dixon before we interviewed him for the show.
Okay, you're right. But okay, I guess since we've interviewed them.
Right,
first guest
yeah.
we've met in person.
I think that's the first.
That's actually pretty impressive. Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
Thanks, man.
So, speaking of me being proud of you, wait, hold on. Thunder were down by 25?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's pretty impressive. Anyway.
Told you they were coming back in the second half.
You did that. So, speaking of you, there's been a bit of a change in your life recently.
Yeah, there has been.
As of today, really, or really yesterday. There's a potential you're going to be talking to Stephen A. Smith.
Or Max Kellerman. We're not sure which
Kellerman. So there's this group on Facebook. So I'm just going to go ahead and say I'm jumping on the bandwagon of Alex Strofe. So
thank you. Wow.
Yeah, of course.
I'm honored.
So there's a Facebook group called First Take Your Take, if I'm correct. And every week, there's a topic that Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman debate for a second. Then they send it to the audience, right? So the audience sends in video clips, answering their question, whatever the topic was, talking about debating them a little bit. Right. So then a winner is picked. 3 finalists are chosen. A winner is picked, and that winner on Fridays will debate either Stephen A. or Max Kellerman, correct?
Yep, that's correct. You got it.
So the question for this week was what was it? Who is going to be the best player of this draft out of this NFL draft?
Who's going to make the biggest impact in year one?
Oh, in year one. Okay, gotcha.
Right.
So your answer was Josh Allen. Okay.
Right, because I have him going to the Bills, and I hope that works out in that favor so I can continue that argument on Friday if I do end up winning.
Oh, that's true. So it might completely change your argument. If
right, if it does, I'll still have a good argument. But continue.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is on the air, I want to play the portion of the video that they put together that featured you. It's going to start out with you talking about. It's going to start out with your video talking about Josh Allen. Then it's going to go to Stephen A, Molly, and Max Kellerman, and they kind of roasted you a little bit. So let's take a look.
Yeah, they did.
Let's give it a listen.
Let's hear it.
His arm power leaves everybody and all. This guy could throw a 75-mile-an-hour fastball. He's a steal.
I like that guy.
Christmas,
like
you do, Max? Guy. Christmas lights?
Yeah,
Christmas
what's up with the Christmas lights?
I'll tell you what I like.
in April. What the hell was that?
Is that a dorm room? I don't know what's happening.
Let me tell you what I like about that guy. He started off the top, right? So if you are recording this and sending it in, you can always retake it. But he didn't. He figured, no, my stuff is good enough. I'm just going to keep going. He's not sweating it like that. And he was pretty good. I like him.
Wow.
And there you have it. You have it, Alex.
Yeah.
How do you feel? When you saw that, how did you feel? Honest opinion.
So, I don't know how much details I can really reveal about what went on, but I'll reveal as much as I've told you. So, this morning, or yesterday morning, I guess, we record this Wednesday night. So, Wednesday morning, I woke up at 7:30, and I had a message from 10 minutes before that from a producer from First Take. And they said, or she asked me if I could do a pre-interview because I was picked as a finalist, one of 3 finalists. So we did an interview, and she said, all right, it comes kind of down to that and a social vote. So as of recording, I'm winning the social vote by about 100 votes. So that's pretty neat. So we'll see. But
there is a really good chance you're going to be debating them on Friday.
Fingers crossed, man. Fingers are definitely crossed. I don't want to get my hopes up because I don't want to be too disappointed.
I want to see how this goes.
I really do too. But no, I mean, I'm really hoping I can talk to Stephen A because he was not a fan of the Christmas lights.
He wasn't. He was kind of going off on you a little bit.
Yeah. So Victor, special to the bandwagon. If I do end up debating him, I'm going to find a Christmas tree, just like a little mini one, and I'm going to set it up next to me for my shot.
That would be amazing.
I know.
Because the first thing they're going to talk about is that Christmas tree.
Yeah, absolutely.
Either do that or just like buy 4 more strands of Christmas lights.
Oh, I have 2. I have 2 that I don't have hung up. So
there you go.
I could just hang them everywhere.
And just throw them behind you and make it like a Christmas light waterfall.
Oh, gosh. This would be great. I love it. Well, thank you for jumping on the bandwagon of me. I appreciate your support, my friend.
Of course. I want to help you win. I want to help you crush Stephen A. Smith, even though he will probably crush you. And I'm excited for this. This is good for us, good for you, good for the show. Happy for you.
I appreciate it, brother. So thanks again to Chad Forbes. Thank you, Victor. I appreciate the support. Much love as always. You can connect with the show using #BandwagonPod. You can find Vic on Twitter @FreeZeal33. Find me on Twitter @Alex_Strofe. That'll do it for us on today, April 26th. And Victor, happy NFL Draft.
Happy NFL Draft, my friend.
Mwah. Ladies and gentlemen, until next time.
What up, Miss C? It's your boy V Hen. You knew I'd have to come at him again. 2018. 4 years later. Change the style up a little bit. One day I was walking down the street. I was really thirsty, so I walked a piece, had a big glass of water. Then I had to pee, so I ran crying all the way home. Then I opened up the door. I ran straight to the party. My bladder couldn't hold it anymore. I lifted up the seat, and then I began to pee. They went from the kidneys to the ureter, down to the bladder, where it all matters. Then through the urethra, where I'll have to release you out the urinary meters. Then it exited my penis. Then it exited my penis. Later on that night, I had a pain that I couldn't fight. I was dizzy and I had to throw up, and my temperature was as high as you know what. I couldn't take it anymore, so I had to go to the doctor. I got checked out. Yeah, boy, was about to pass out. Then the doctor came in to give me my diagnosis. Last night I was up until 10, worrying about this prognosis. He said, well, Houston, we have a problem. I said, whatever it is, Doc, we're gonna solve it.
Tomorrow's production available in today's morning.
I'm about to put down this microphone. I'm about to put down this microphone. It was a kidney stone. It was a kidney stone. It was a kidney stone. And we out. Drive safe. Thank y'all. It was a kidney.